All right, so quite literally right now, LA is burning to a crisp. There are three major wildfires going on in LA County. There is one in Pacific Palisades. This is just east of Malibu, just north of Santa Monica. One of the nicest, I think the most expensive properties in Los Angeles. There is a major wildfire just north of Pasadena. And there is another sizable one in Sylmar. That is one that is closest to me. Some of the footage from this is simply astounding at how dramatic it is. We're going to be taking a look at as much of it as we can see. This all erupted in less than 24 hours. The fire, I believe, the main fire that was first reported was the Pacific Palisades one. And that was about 24 hours from this moment right now. Today is January 8th, 2025. It is noon. And this is all just happening. Take a look at this insane video. This is someone escaping their house in Pacific Palisades.
All right, dude. Yeah, let's get out of here. We tried, bro. I'm sorry.
Man.
We tried our best. Yeah, and when this tree falls.
Look at that, dude. Imagine walking out and it's like a fire tornado.
Sorry, bro.
One thing I learned when I was staying up with my dad in Santa Clarita during the Tick County fires is that there are plenty of people who will wait until the very last second to evacuate. And then there's even more people who just refuse to evacuate for a multitude of reasons. One, some people just cherish their house so much to where they refuse to leave under any circumstances. There's some people that I don't think they believe in their mind that they can afford to leave because they want to do anything possible to defend their house, try to keep the fires away from it. Pretty much always futile. Always leave in emergency scenarios. If you receive an evacuation notice, I think it goes without saying you should absolutely always leave. And then there's people who just don't think it's that serious. You know, there's plenty of tough red-blooded Americans out there who think they can beat a wildfire or that it's just not that big of a deal. It's not going to affect them, whatever the case may be. There's tons of people like that. This is one of the most insane clips I saw. Nightmare fuel. 2 men and a dog trapped in a home surrounded by the Palisades fire. Look at this, dude.
Hi.
You know, in today's...
You're gonna be okay. Hi.
Man.
You're gonna be okay.
In today's era, like, you could easily say this is AI. Like, this is insane. Or a movie scene. It really looks like a movie set. Crazy.
Look at that.
Dude, I mean, what are you supposed to do in this situation? At this point, when this is happening right here, you are way too far gone. Apparently, this guy survived, and so did his dogs. And whoever else is in the house, is what I read, is that everybody made it out. So it's not like it's impossible to survive when it gets to this point. But why would you even want it to have to get to this point is a question I have. But I mean, it doesn't matter. I've been in some scenarios where, you know, it's very difficult to make a decision with so much going on. And you also have that element of fear that's in the back of your mind, trying to make sure you don't forget anything or you do something right. And then sometimes the gas is off. A lot of the footage we're going to see is gas lines exploding, power lines creating bigger fires. Look at these dudes, man. Like, get out of there, right? Like, get out. Anyways, so that's that. This looks like it's straight out of a Universal movie. Remember the movie Backdraft? Anyone seen that? This reminds me of the movie Backdraft. When he opens the door and he gets blown back. Insane. This is a clip from when it just was kicking off. I ride down here all the time. That's a bike path that goes up from Santa Monica through to the beginning of Malibu. I was just here like 2 days before. So the thing that caused all this is like a weather phenomenon that happens in SoCal every year pretty much called the Santa Ana winds. This year, easily the most intense and dramatic winds that I can remember in my own history of living in LA my entire life. It's never been as insane as it was last night. I have one little clip on my phone that I filmed. I wanted to show you guys. Here's how my backyard was looking last night. Yeah, I know it looks like a horror movie, but now from here, it doesn't really look, you know, it just looks like a very windy night, which, I mean, honestly, that's kind of what it was. But clearly, you get a small fire, and then it turns into a gigantic fire with intense wind, and then it only takes a few small embers from that fire to kind of blow with whatever direction the wind is blowing, and then these small fires start everywhere, and then they eventually combine into one gigantic fire. Kind of what we saw happening last night. Here is a clip of people leaving their cars in the middle of the street. A lot of people just straight up abandoned their cars, got out, and ran for their lives. As you can see, the street is filled with cars. There was actually a guy on the news telling people that they should leave their key in their cars in case EMS needed to move their car for them. And so they wouldn't have a situation like this where people just straight up abandon their cars, making it difficult for firefighters to get through. But in a situation where everyone's panicking, what are you going to do? A lot of people got stuck, ended up getting out of their cars and running. Now, the reason you're seeing a lot of them squished together is because they actually had bulldozers come through and create space. I'm going to try and find the clip of that for you guys. Here it is. Literally shoveling cars out of the way on the road. Outrageous scenes, man. You could tell somebody that this is part of a movie shoot, how insane all of it is. And it's wild how quickly all this developed, too. Look at this. This is this morning. This is how the sunrise looked over downtown LA. I mean,
Ever seen anything like this.
That's actually beautiful. I can't even lie. That is one of the greatest shots I think I've ever seen of the city.
There's so much smoke that it is blocking the sun.
I mean,
You can actually see it.
it's just beautiful. It's sad that it was created out of such a devastating event, but gorgeous. Entire city covered with smoke this morning, and even currently, even with the crazy winds. That's from the Eden fire, which we're going to check out next. This one is the one that's burning over Pasadena, and it seems like that is the one that is a bigger deal currently. The Pacific Palisades one, although it's still burning, kind of under control somewhat. Look at this, more crazy sunrise scenes from the fire. So people were kind of evacuating at their own pace all night, but I mean, look at this, man. Straight up insane. Now, the general sentiment yesterday, I feel like, was as though it was going to be a lot of wind. People were kind of preparing for the wind by removing things from their backyard that would probably turn into projectiles. I don't think anyone expected this level of catastrophe. I mean, I'm sure some people did, those who were more in the know. But, I mean, entire neighborhoods are turning into disaster zones, and it's just, there's nothing that anyone can do. Given the intense winds last night and the massive amount of smoke, one of the primary ways that wildfires in LA County are typically fought is in the air via helicopters and planes who, release flame retardant and, whatever else they use to fight fires from the sky. They just didn't have that method at their disposal at all last night. This is the Getty Center, one of the most famous museums in LA, threatened by fire. Apparently, this was not dramatically affected, as in it didn't completely burn to the ground, so that's great. Insane photos, man. Look at that. Just wild. Of course, it wouldn't be any LA event without some looting, too. Apparently, 2 attempted looters were arrested. This is by the 5 and the 210 freeway interchange. Pretty close to me, actually. I don't really see many dramatic effects from it, but this is not far from where I am. Look at this. This is insane footage captured by F-Spot on YouTube. He was actually in the trenches. I mean, I couldn't even believe that someone was able to get this close. This must have been well before they shut down the roads completely. As of today, this morning, all access to Malibu, Pacific Palisades completely cut off through PCH, Sunset Boulevard. Can't get back here, so he must have got there before anyone really even knew it was like this, because I feel like the fire escalated before most people even understood the severity of it. And as you can see, I mean, he's absolutely the bravest guy I've seen on YouTube so far for even getting this close. Insane. Live footage from NBC. So this right here, this area is a small mall in Pacific Palisades. I've actually been there. I'm pretty sure behind this shot right here, there was a Starbucks. As you can see, I mean, look around. Let's see if we can rewind a little bit. It looks like an actual war zone. But you can't rewind. Unfortunately, we're stuck here. But I mean, take a look around. Not all of it was burned down. I mean, the other side of this shot looks like it was completely untouched. That's the crazy part about fires. It goes exactly where it wants to, and nothing can stop it once it gets going. So this is Eden Canyon fire. This is the one that's currently seems like it's going out of control. And I mean, look at this. This house is clearly toast, and probably all the houses in this neighborhood are toast. Main problems they're facing, not enough firefighters. They're all spread very thin throughout the county because each of these fires are in like very different locations that are pretty far apart from each other. Second is there's not enough water. So they're actually running out of water in the fire hydrants as they're trying to pull water to fight the fires currently. And when that happens, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do.
This house burning and just raging. The flames are just raging across the street.
Wild. As you can see, it's very windy. The brush and the trees are blowing from the power of the wind, and that's just accelerating the fire. It's like nature's gas getting dumped on the fire, man. I don't even know like what to do or what to say about this situation. Hopefully, if you know someone who is affected by this, you got them out of there. You told them to evacuate. Hopefully, they did on their own. The one thing that really sticks out to me in these situations is people's unwillingness to evacuate. The fire department in the fire trucks will literally come up and down the street when they have time to tell people that haven't seen seen the other means via like their phone or from the TV to leave, they will come and physically tell people on the loudspeaker to leave. That's when they have enough time to do something like that. In situations like this, I mean, this escalated so rapidly. They probably didn't have any time to do that. I mean, we saw the YouTuber F-Spot was able to drive through. In that sense, the firefighters don't have time to do any type of like evacuation warning. They're already just at work trying to fight the fires. This is by Fire Photo Girl on Twitter/X. She has some of the best coverage of any fires that go on in California that I see. Definitely recommend you give her a follow. Altadena Eden fire, 10,600 acres burned. Multiple houses catching fire, burned to the ground, surrounding areas. Wind has subsided significantly. Threat of losing homes still a major problem. Wind is finally easing up. This was only supposed to be 2 days of wind. Mainly, it was just yesterday's massive amount of wind that all this started from. It was just about like 8 hours of very powerful wind, a few small embers, and half of the county's on fire. So this is footage from her. She was actually live at the fire last night. Let's check some of this out. This is in Eden Canyon, Pasadena. Hell on earth, man. Actual apocalypse. I think she has special privileges to get like back to some of these areas too, because I don't know if she's press or if she is part of the fire department. I'm not exactly sure, but I often see her shooting photos in places where it seems like it'd be more difficult to get access. But look at this, man. First off, there's close to zero visibility. You have no idea if there's somebody, there could be people unconscious in these houses, passed out from smoke, just weren't even aware that they're about to be burned alive. I don't know, man, it's sickening. It's very terrifying, man. Think of the pets, the cats running around in the streets. They don't have a single clue what to do. Dogs left behind. I don't know, man. It's really heartbreaking to think of stuff like this.
This is putrid. Let's get out of here.
Look at that, man. Senior citizens unable to leave on their own accord, maybe. Luckily, these people came to save them. There was a press conference this morning, too, for people who wanted advice on like how to help as far as like volunteer work. And they basically said at this point, there's not much to do in terms of volunteering that would not get in the way of firefighters. Just donating water, stuff like that is the most you could do to help. I personally am wary of links, stuff like GoFundMe's, things like that. I personally would hold off. Whenever stuff like that pops up at the very beginning of disasters, I kind of, I'm very suspicious of it unless it's very blatantly obvious that it is that person and they are affected by it. Be careful out there. The easiest thing to do is just donate water bottles, blankets, basics like that, socks. Anyways, man, crazy stuff from her. There's a clip from yesterday as it was just jumping off. She found this lady walking down the street, clearly looking lost. I mean, with this much smoke, you can't even really see much further than 20 feet in front of you.
Tell her to get in the car.
So this lady was just running down the street in the middle of fire. She hops in and she says she was looking for her car.
What's your location? I'd like to tie with you.
You're crazy. You're out running around.
Said her car is right across the line. Look at that fire burning out of control everywhere. I don't even know how you could tell where you're going in this issue. You have to know the area pretty well.
Where?
She said her house is right there.
Oh, okay, so where do you want me to take you?
My car is right there.
Okay.
That man, dude. She could have been either trying to go back to her house, which is a bad idea, or to her car. I mean, put yourself in this situation, right? What do you do? What do you do? Your first instinct is, of course, going to be to go back to your house, right? Your first instinct is to go home, even though you can't. You literally can't. But there's probably something in your spine, in the back of your head, telling you, like, go home, just go home. Home is a safe place. The smart thing is obviously get in your car and just leave. Get out of there. Just get as far away from there as possible. Oh, man. More shots. This is PCH in Topanga Canyon. Mass destruction going on at the Palisades fire. So much destroyed. Look at that. Right on the beach. Luckily, the water is right there. Honestly, if there was not PCH and the beach on the other side of, like, Pacific Palisades, basically, the fire would have just kept going. Whatever is to the west of where it started would have been still in flames today. It would have been a much bigger fire if it didn't start exactly where it did. The wind was blowing in the direction that it did, and the beach wasn't there. Just apocalypse, man. Apocalypse now in LA. Right on the new year. Everything just burning out of control. No hope to put any of it out. I mean, what's even the point? Stuff like that. Everything on both sides of PCH past Topanga is gone. That word gone is really powerful too, because it's quite literally gone. Edgewater Towers off of PCH. People just trying to get out of there, man. Imagine driving past that. media rolling in. You just got to go, man. She said there's an elderly woman in the lobby who can't leave because she can't walk. Jeez. Insanity, man. I believe this is a senior citizens. That one to the that we saw to the right is a senior citizens kind of like retirement area. Speechless. Everything is on fire, including the high school on Temescal Canyon and Sunset. So, although these are very wealthy areas, a lot of people bought these properties when they were not obscenely expensive to where they are today. So it's not like all these people are extremely wealthy millionaires. A lot of them just happen to own the property there. Of course, they do have wealth through owning the property, but you know, when they lose that, a lot of them maybe they don't have insurance, so they just lose everything that they have. No, this is my last post for a little while. I don't even know what to do anymore. This place is getting wiped off the map. Absolute destruction every turn. Man. The embers is really the scary part, man. One of those gets in your eyes, you are actually in trouble. Like, you got to go straight to the hospital, really. If it gets in your eyes and you can't get it out. Man, this is all just continued from Pacific Palisades, too. This is just one of the 3 major fires going on in LA. Jeez. This lady's a hero, man. Big props to her. Again, give her a follow. Fire Photo Girl on X/Twitter. Seniors getting rolled out. This is in Pasadena. I don't know if this is a hospital or a retirement home, but they're just doing everything they can to save lives out here. Breaking news, patients being raced across the roadways. Extreme fire danger in Pasadena. Here's the original clip. Before traffic was fully closed, I'm assuming all these roads are closed now. But just look at this disaster scene, man. Jeez. It's horrifying, man. Oh my God, it's really hard to watch. So there's some of that. This is an update from just now. Acton, brush fire, Soledad Canyon and Bootlegger Canyon. This is actually very close to me. So maybe it's time for me to start getting concerned. I don't know. I actually expected my area to get more fire. You know, Soledad Canyon, Santa Clarita, Valencia. You typically see a lot of fires burning there when fires are happening. But honestly, we haven't really seen much out here. More random clips, man. There's going to be literally hundreds of these. Everybody is going to have tons of these clips over the next few days and weeks as they post them, because everybody has their own version of this footage. They said over 1,000 structures demolished in Pacific Palisades alone, just from that one fire. And considering the one in Pasadena is still raging, I mean, the amount of destruction that is happening right now, I think is still magnitudes beyond what anybody is really able to calculate. It is truly astonishing how much just got destroyed in the span of 24 hours. I've never seen anything like this. I truly have not. I have not seen anything like this my entire life in LA. It is just mortifying. There's not many other ways to say like how bad it is. It's just really bad. So I don't know, man. LA is it's on fire again. This happens every couple of years, and this is the worst one that I can remember seeing in my entire life. My 31 years alive, never seen wildfires to this extent, and it's scary. But get in the comments, let me know what you think.